Hola! I am Ephfive, and this is a Scrappy review of Welcome to Walnut Grove, from Lookout Games, or Mayfair Games, I guess. Anyway, Walnut Grove is the name of the town the Ingle family lived in on the 1970s and 80s TV show Little House on the Prairie. If you aren't familiar with the reference, I wouldn't bother looking it up. Other than being vaguely agrarian in theme, and set in the late 1800s, the game has nothing to do with Little House on the Prairie. If you aren't yet familiar with it, looking it up will only make this game sound more boring. But this game is not boring. It's most easily described as a thinner, quicker Agricola. Agricola is an expansive worker placement game about farming and livestock. If you aren't yet familiar with it, looking it up will only make this game sound more boring. In fact, perhaps the easiest complaint I have about Walnut Grove is that it is almost impossible not to make it sound boring. You expand your lands to get more food and resources, to make your farm better and your family bigger, and every winter you spend so much food and wood feeding and heating your family and workers that it can feel like you're back at square one when spring rolls around. But I do like this game, I promise. The same cycle I just described, but in a game that takes 2 to 4 hours, is tedious and painful, especially when introducing new players. But even a long game of Walnut Grove, including explanation of how to play, rarely clocks in at more than an hour. So I can forgive it the bland theme and harsh winters, of which there will be 8. 8 rounds in a fairly tight and strategic game would normally take quite a while, but this game does a great job of streamlining each year. A round is broken into 4 simple seasonal actions, mostly completed by all players simultaneously. In spring, everyone draws land tiles and uses them to increase their access to various resources. In summer, everyone sends their workers out to collect said resources. In fall, everyone gets to take an action in town, maybe trading goods for money, building additions to their farms, getting more workers, or just taking some extra resources. Fall is the one part of each round where you might block someone from taking the action they want, or vice versa. And then in winter, everyone discards food and wood to feed and heat their workers. Do all that 8 times and then count points to see who wins. A simple circle tile in the middle of the playboard provides an easy reference to each season and how that season of that year is different from others. Some particularly harsh winters require players to discard more food, some summers there might just be more fish to pull out of your farm's lake, and some falls trading stone will get you more than trading other resources. This provides a nice sense of variety each year without adding a stumbling block to every turn of the season, which not all games can boast. Like most agrarian games, Walnut Grove can be a bit unforgiving, but information is public enough that if you find yourself taking neighborly help penalty tokens, it's probably your own fault, or because you have bigger fish to fry. And if you are getting manhandled by the game, which is common, you can rest assured that the beating won't last too long. It does take a special kind of masochist to enjoy this game the first time through, or a special kind of sadist to put them through it. But beyond that, it is a nice, simple, and competitive experience each time you play it. The endgame points are tight, leaving most players with a score in the high teens to mid-20s, so you're never that far behind whoever beat you. If I'm talking actual complaints, the game's economy is a bit awkward. When you trade for coins, you draw them at random from a pouch of copper, silver, and gold. These coins take up your extremely limited storage space at your farm, and their value for the purpose of paying tax or spending them as resources is always 1 coin, regardless of their type. In fact, the only difference a coin's type makes is in how many points it's worth at the end of the game. For many, Walnut Grove won't really be worth the current price. Despite decent components and the surprisingly clean experience it offers, the bland theme and lackluster presentation won't inspire much love. I challenge you to say board game based loosely on the times of Little House on the Prairie to anyone and get a response of awe and excitement. But it is still worth consideration, especially as a way to introduce a variety of simplified mechanics to those new to board gaming. There are few games of depth that don't kill the lion's share of a 3-hour block of board gaming when you have new players involved. Walnut Grove is one of them.